Susan, what's the first thing you think about when you think of the word geometry?
Oh, I remember this classroom in my high school and a teacher who had a test every Friday. Now, that's not so bad. I was pretty good at tests. Problem was, throughout the week we'd get all these theorems and axioms and postulates, whatever that is, I can't remember anymore. But you do all those different things and then you had the test on Friday. Then the next week, you started all over again with a whole new group of theorems and axioms and postulates, and you had another test. But then you got to midterms, and now you had to go back and you had to remember all those things that you had done from back 9 weeks before. You know what? I never got geometry till I got out in the real world and I started doing it myself. I was using all those things at home, but I didn't make a connection with them.
So true. You must have had the same teacher I did.
She transferred from your school to mine.
I think so, because, you know, just from state to state, it seemed to be that way. And quite honestly, I didn't really learn geometry until I took a class where I had to learn how to teach geometry at the middle school level. And all of a sudden I learned that there was a hierarchy of skills that my students needed before they got to those theorems and postulates, etc. And I wasn't teaching it. In fact, I felt so bad because really all I was teaching were formulas and saying...
Well, but that's what's in our books.
Well,
our books have formulas
true.
And then they have examples and students work back and forth with those things. So, you know, so many of us that teach adult education today, our background isn't math.
Oh, that's true.
You know,
hey, you know, I'm
a social studies major. I loved math. I had a lot of fun with math. But it wasn't until later on that I realized all the connections that were really there. So, okay, so there's a theory.
Yes.
So what's the theory?
The theory was put forth back in the 50s.
Oh, that was a really good time.
I know, it really was. But you know, what has happened throughout all of these decades since is that same theory is still very accurate today. And it was by a husband and wife team known as the Van Heels, or depending upon your pronunciation, sometimes people will call it the Van Heelys. Either one is correct. And what they found was that students can't get to that deduction type of thinking, which is what you and I were asked to do.
Oh, postulates and theorems. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you get there? Where do you start?
Well, the first step that you have to take is you have to teach them visualization. Can they visualize in their mind what something looks like? What's a geometric shape look like?
Okay, so I have this piece of paper.
Yes, you do.
That's a geometric shape.
Yes, it is. And what is it?
4 sides.
True.
Parallel lines.
Yes.
Looks like a rectangle to me.
It does. And even more so, it's also a quadrilateral.
Well, that's true too. I can call things different things, but I've got certain properties that go along with them. Well, but at visualization, is a student going to get all these properties?
Absolutely not. That's the next level.
Okay, so they just need to recognize the shape itself.
Yes.
Okay, all right, that works.
Next level is what you just did automatically. You said it had parallel sides.
Okay.
You, I think, would have even went to the point where it had 90-degree angles, which
that's
of
true.
course
That's
we
true.
know are right angles.
Sure.
And you called it by the correct name. You
Okay.
called it a rectangle. And of course, we know that a rectangle is a quadrilateral or a 4-sided figure. So you analyzed what you saw and identified the different properties of that geometric shape.
But what if that shape were tilted? Would I still recognize that?
You should at analysis level because
Okay.
that's called rotation. So if I see a square and I rotate it, I don't see a diamond, I see a square that's been rotated.
Okay, you've been throwing lots of words around.
Oh, I have, I know.
Okay, we've got rectangles and quadrilaterals, and we've got parallel lines. Oh, now we've got rotation.
Yes,
I know that there is a language for math,
definitely.
and that there are things that we really need to be saying in the classroom. What all do I need, though, for geometry? Because we just got started, and all of a sudden, what have we got? we've got all these terms out there. So how are we going to deal with those?
Well, most of us have dealt with it by saying, here's a shape, what's the name? Or, here's the name, quote a definition for me.
Oh, please.
I know.
Don't talk to me about definitions.
It's that memorization thing, right?
Yes, yes.
But what we really want to be able to do with students is see whether they can apply their knowledge. Can they identify the word, the shape, and what it is with properties?
So a part of what I would have to do is I would have to visualize and recognize that shape that's there. And then I've got to look at the properties, and then all of those things, which would be in my definition.
Yes.
And then that goes back to a term that I
Definitely.
need to know. Okay.
I think you've got it.
So how am I going to do that in a classroom? Because, we got lots of students sitting in there. How am I going to work with this?
Would you like an idea?
I always take an idea.
I know. There's a great activity that you can do in the classroom. Not only is it fun, students learn, and best of all, they get to collaborate. We all know how important teamwork is in the adult ed program.
Well, wait. Collaboration, that can get a little noisy and a little messy.
So be it. Learning is fun. Learning can be noisy.
Okay.
You know how
Okay.
it works.
All right. So what do I do?
Okay, this is all you do. I, as your instructor for the day,
Yeah.
have created an activity for you.
Okay.
And you're going to have to just pretend today that you have collaborative partners.
Okay. These are my imaginary friends?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
That works.
So, what I'm going to do is give each of my groups of students a magical envelope. And within this envelope, they're going to find lots of strips of paper.
Oh.
Now, I will tell you, it's heavy-duty paper. And on those strips of paper, their task is to be the very first table to put together the correct definition to the word, to what it looks like.
Okay, so,
would you like to try it?
So I'm playing a matching game.
Yes,
Okay.
you are.
I got it. I got
Okay,
it.
so ready, set, go, Susan.
Oh, you didn't tell me I had this many things
Well,
here.
you know what? I may not give that many to my students, but I know your intelligence level, so you definitely can do this.
Oh, I can do this. Now, does it matter if it takes me a while to get through all these things? And what am I going to do if I get stuck somewhere?
Well, that's the joy of a collaborative partnership. You have team members.
Well, true.
And as you go through, there are certain things that you definitely know, because you've already told me that this is a rectangle.
Yeah, and now I just have to go through and I have to find the right definition as I'm working with that. So I first have to get all these pieces of paper put together. But I do have, let's see here. Oh, that has, let's see, also contains two opposite congruent sides. I have a figure like this. Lots of different things that are here, Bonnie.
And you're going to have to use your skills at really identifying what specific properties a rectangle has.
There we go.
And why did you select that one, Susan?
Because we already talked about it. We have two sets of parallel lines.
Okay.
And we have 90-degree angles. So
Perfect.
that's what I'm going to do. So now I just have to get the rest of my imaginary
Definitely.
team here to get with it so that we can put all these things together. Okay.
And we're going to leave Susan working on this for a little bit. Do you like this kind of a game or activity? Well, I do, because it really does hit the Van Heel level of analysis. But although you and I can put this together Sunday afternoon, you go and find the different items and you find the definitions, I need to tell you that there's a great website out there. And that website is teacherspayteachers.com.
What's that?
Teacherspayteachers.com.
Okay, that sounds good.
And it's exactly what it says. It's a website where all the materials are put together by people like you and me, teachers. And many of those things are free, or if there is a cost, it's a minimum cost. This particular game, I downloaded free of charge. Where at, Susan?
Teacherspayteachers.com.
In fact, what I got were all of these different ideas for putting together the name, the picture, with the definition. It's not enough to just teach definitions. Students really need to be able to analyze all the different spatial figures before you go on to informal and more formal deduction in geometry. So, if you'd like to see this game, you may either go out to that teacherspayteachers.com site or go to FloridaTechNet.org so that you can download this particular activity. FloridaTechNet.org. And have some fun with geometry.
And may the force be with you when it comes to geometry matching.
Definitely, definitely. And thank you.